Alright folks, Mr. Heiser here showing you how to assemble your sub-assemblies. So I'm going to start out with a new assembly file. And I'm going to start out by placing in the base, which is part 8. Click on my home view. I'm just going to click to place this in here. There it is. And I'm going to right click and ground this right away before I forget. Alright, next thing I'm going to place in here are my 3 sub-assemblies. So I'm going to go my ARM sub-assembly. I'm going to grab my sub-base sub-assembly. I'm going to grab my yoke sub-assembly. And then I'm also going to place in here part 16, part 7, and part 4. And part 4. Alright, so let's go back to our plans here. I need to place along the edge part 7, 2.5 inches in. So I'm going to constrain by meeting this face to the edge. I'm going to flush the bottom of this part with the bottom here. And then I'm going to flush this edge with this edge and offset it negative 2.5 inches. And there's that. That's our stop bar to prevent it from popping out. Alright. So next, I'm going to constrain part 16 right here. So I'm going to constrain that by meeting the top face here with the bottom and hit apply. The next thing I'm going to do, going back to our instructions, is I'm going to offset it by flushing from this. I'm going to flush this edge to this edge 1 inch. And then I'm also going to mate this edge and this edge together. Oh, well, not me. Let's take a look here. It still slides. Let's try this once. Let's try flushing this face with this face, a distance of 2.65. Alright, so it should now be constrained so that it does not move around at all. Alright, let's continue. Next thing I'm going to do is place my sub-base on here. So I'm going to go back and mate my sub-face on here. So I'm going to mate the top of this with the bottom here and hit apply. I'm going to move this out of the way so it doesn't get confusing at all. Okay. And let's go back to our plans. It appears we want to flush. Oh. Sorry about that. This gets a little hard, tricky to do. We're going to flush this face with this edge. And then we're going to rotate this and we're going to flush this face with this edge and offset it 3 inches. Okay. So now, let's go back to our plans. It should look like that, which it does. So far, so good. And so next thing we want to do is place our yoke subassembly in. And we're going to insert it 1.5 inches. So we're going to use the constrain tool. We're going to insert this into there and insert it -1. I'm sorry, I used the mate constraint. We're going to constrain, insert this into this hole, -1.5 inches. And now we are going to let's see, next let's grab our arm, move this over here. And here's our rod that goes in between. And we are going to mate this rod into this hole. And we are going to flush the ends and hit apply. And so now the last thing we need to do is mate the rod with the hole. And we're going to mate this face with this face and hit apply. And we now have our arm fully functioning. Alright, so the last thing we need to do, well, we're going to save this as assembled arm. The last thing we need to do